everyone. Welcome to another episode of Jeep Torque. And today we're going to talk about wiring, which is sometimes an area that is overlooked, especially with some of the folks that don't know how to do some of the wiring. They will do it the traditional way. So let's get right into it. The old school way of doing it is using the original end connectors that you would for many years, and you could pick these up at any location, whether it's a Walmart, grocery store, uh, AutoZone, any of these auto parts store. And what I'm referring to is these little guys here, these type of connectors here, one of those. And then there's all different variations. You have this one too as well. And you would put one wire on one side or one in one side and then crimp it down. And that's pretty much it. The issue with these is that they get corroded very easily and the wire is left exposed at the end there. So if you have current, for example, going through one of these and it's come from your positive battery and it happens to touch something, it will either create a spark, create a fire, it'll melt things down. So definitely not good to use these at all, in my opinion, especially if it's in an area where you're going to get a lot of rain that's going to hit that spot, or you're going off-roading with the Jeep and you're going to get water that gets in there. It'll definitely corrode right away. So good to get you out of a jam, not good for long term, that's for sure. So the best things that you should use are these here, which have a little soldering in the middle. So basically what it does is it takes the old school of soldering a wire on one of those old connectors and simply puts it all together in one little plastic sheathing, if you will, like this, and that part there is your solder, and then the edges would melt to each wire that you're connecting right there. So this is my favorite. This is what I use all the time. Now you got to be really careful because there are different variations out there, but depending on the manufacturer, sometimes it takes a little bit for the middle to melt with your heat gun. And in some cases, it doesn't work at all. So this is the best one that I found out there. So if you want to just take a look at this here, I don't know if you could kind of see that there, but these are the best here to use. The other thing I want to point out is a lot of times you'll use those, but I've seen people not go ahead and actually put some sort of heat shrink tubing around whatever you connect. So the other thing that I'd like to talk about, and it should be a final step when you're done with all those connectors, is using something like this. Okay, and a lot of these products you could find on Amazon. Unfortunately, they're all made in China. I couldn't find something that was made in America. If there's any suggestions out there, please let me know. But basically, there's different sizes for different gauges. So when you're done doing your connector, you should get in the habit of then putting one of these on the end and then shrinking that around it so you seal it really tight and no water, nothing gets in there, and you have a really good solid connection. And they come in different variations. I started with these when I first started, so it's like one of my original ones here. You'll see it like that. And this has different sizes. It's just all in black color, but you'll find them out there. Definitely great to have in the garage and a must have when you're installing any sort of auxiliaries on your Jeep or upgrading the sound system. The other thing that I want to talk about is a hydraulic crimping tool. And this one is a must when you're dealing with 1 gauge, 2 gauge, or really thicker cables, and you have to get this type of connector, which is copper. Okay, so you can't just squeeze this with a set of pliers unless you're, Superman or something like that. So this would fit in here, and then it's hydraulically pumps, and then you could release the pressure to let it go, and then this connector comes out, and it's professionally done, and it'll look as if it was stock. So a great tool to have. You're not going to probably use that one as much. That's more if you're redoing some heavier wiring from your engine block up to your TIPM or up to your battery. That's where you would use something like that. In my case, when I did the Big 7 kit, I upgraded my alternator and I had to build my own or make my own ground cable. So I needed to make this on my own. And then I put a nice little heat shrink around it, which is a thicker one that goes around this. And then you're nice and sealed and it looks stock. So it worked out very well. And what I'm referring to is a cable about this size, right? So that's really thick there. And this would go in there, and then you crimp it with that tool, which I'll do on another video. I'll show you how to do how-tos with each one of these. But I just want to bring that up because I can't tell you how many times I've worked on Jeeps, or I had people come to me because they have some weird thing going on with their radio or something's going on. And then once I get in there, I see a ton of these old school connectors in there. And then I gotta, go line by line and figure out what's going on and see what the issue is exactly. And then just redo everything properly. And when you do sync something and you do it right and use the shrink wrap, it'll come out like this, right? And this will never come loose. So this is one of those soldering tubes that I did, and then I put the heat shrink around it as well. Again, I'm going to make 2 separate videos. I just figured I would talk about the wiring and how important that is, and it's something that you definitely should not, just leave it to using these simple connectors where you could cause a fire and cause a headache down the road for sure. So, all right. So more to come on those. I will do some tutorials on it. If any questions, reach out to mario@jeeptorque.com or follow me on YouTube at jeeptorquefl, or leave me a note here on TikTok. All right. So appreciate it. Talk soon.